Just the other day, we spoke very highly of a man named Chris Columbus.
Not the other one.
Right. For those who don't know, because I didn't know, Chris Columbus did the original #1 only Gremlins. Okay. He also did The Goonies.
The Goonies.
And he also did Home Alone.
1 and 2.
Yep. He did The Goonies. He directed The Goonies and Home Alone. And he was saying just the other day, for those who didn't see it, you can go back and look it up on our channel. But we spoke about how Chris Columbus said, "There's no way that they can do the same quality film and give the same and capture the same vibes today that they did all those years ago for Home Alone 1 and 2. That doing a sequel today would just be a bad idea."
Right.
Well, folks,
he said that.
This comes from The Hollywood Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter says, Gremlins 3, Final Destination duo Zach Lipivsky, Adam B. Stein joined Chris Columbus to write script. It said Columbus is on board to also direct the new sequel to the Warner Brothers 1984 classic, which the studio dated on Thursday for a 2027 release. It says the directing duo behind the summer's horror hit Final Destination Bloodlines have teamed up with Chris Columbus to write the new feature installment of Gremlins, Warner Brothers horror comedy franchise featuring little mischievous monsters, the Hollywood Reporter has learned. It says the development occurs as the feature project moves full steam ahead at Warner's, with the studio announcing Thursday on an earnings call that it is dating the movie for November 19th, 2027. I want to skip ahead to some quotes here from our man, Chris Columbus.
Your guy, you were really, you were on his side the other day.
I was on his side. Past tense. Yes.
All right. Yep.
It says, in talks about his return to Gremlins, Columbus said to The Hollywood Reporter, quote, "I'm filled with a tremendous surge of inspiration and passion as I embark on this cinematic journey. It's an honor to reunite with Steven Spielberg and Warner's as we bring the latest chapter of Gremlins to a brand new generation of moviegoers who will experience all of the thrills of this grand adventure on the big screen. Few titles are as beloved and iconic as Gremlins, and we're beyond..." That's an ad. Please hold. How do I get rid of this ad? Oh, this is crazy. Wow, Hollywood Reporter, that was gangster. Just messed up my whole podcast. Wow. All right. Sorry about that. I have to actually reload the whole thing here. Few titles are as beloved and iconic as Gremlins, and we're beyond excited to bring back for both lifelong fans and a whole new generation, said Jesse Ehrman, Warner's president of development and production. It's a privilege to be working alongside Steven Spielberg, Chris Columbus, and the entire creative team as we look forward to the audiences experiencing the magic, mayhem, and heart of the Gremlins on the big screen in 2027. Chris Columbus, what the fuck? Exactly.
Okay.
Even my podcast equipment said, what the fuck?
Oh, all right. All right, let's get into it. Tell us why you're mad.
This nigga just said, just the other day, that there's no reason we should be doing a sequel 25 years later to Home Alone. So what happened? Because somebody else called you to do a different sequel that you was part of? You said, oh yeah, I'm down? This is highly hypocritical. This is hypocrisy in its highest form. How you gonna bash one franchise that you were a part of, only to run back to the other one? Because money talks, right? That's the real reason. I said last week Chris Columbus should change his name. I realize now, no, he shouldn't. No, he shouldn't. Because
Okay.
because he too. I'm not gonna finish my sentence. You know what I was gonna say.
Yes, I do know what you were gonna say. Okay, so I do think there's a world in which the answer is different for two different franchises. I could see a person saying, we there's room for more story um, for one film, and there isn't room for more story in the other film. So maybe that's what's happening here. I don't know if I think that's hypocritical. I also don't recall if he specifically said you just shouldn't do things like that, because there's some people who have a very strong stance that that sequels are trash always, and that's just that. I don't necessarily know that. What I do think, though, I agree with you. I think money talks, and for the right price, anybody can make a sequel, can get wrap their head around making a part three to something. I also wonder if he's a little salty because he didn't do Home Alone 3.
And he didn't do Gremlins 2, which is the better one, by the way.
Well, there's also that. But for whatever reason, he is signing on for number 3. So maybe there's more things happening behind the scenes that we just simply don't know,
Mhm.
because that is also a factor. Part of that is money, but part of that could be the relationships. It could be creative differences. There could be a lot of factors that drove him to say, you know what, we should just leave Home Alone alone. But Gremlins seems like a good idea, you know? So I do understand that. And I respect that. I, I don't know. I, this conversation about giving to the younger generation is complicated. And I think you said it best the other day. You could just watch what already exists.
That's
That's the
it.
great thing about media, and that's the great thing about new media and where we are today. You can access pretty much anything.
Right.
So you can watch an older movie. You don't need millions of dollars to be spent for it to be remade or reimagined just to get the original feel of something. You could just watch the thing that already exists, because guess what? It exists.
Right.
That is also a possibility. Now, I understand that there are absolutely opportunities for making things anew, and people take advantage of those opportunities. But I would love to see the stats on how often something gets reimagined or a sequel comes along 20 years later, 30 years later, and the new generation that they keep talking about actually cares. Like, I want to see how much they actually care about that, because I'm sure that there are some who are very interested. But listen, I don't know how all of y'all feel, but I do know that my niece likes the original Mean Girls better than the one that came out most recently, right? So I, I think this whole idea that we're doing these things because the younger generations need their own version. I don't know that they all think that they need their own version. Good art is good art.
Right.
Good and I shouldn't even say good art, that's subjective. Good entertainment will still be good. Good entertainment tends to be classic. It tends to transcend generations. Like, if it is good, it's always going to be good. Some things may not age well, and that's a different conversation. And that's where I think the real conversation is about the new generation. Certain things don't age well, and they don't have respect for certain things. They will tell you straight up, y'all were bugging when y'all said that y'all liked that show where they were clearly being prejudiced, or they were clearly being racist, or whatever. Like, they're good at calling us out on that and calling us to the carpet on, yeah, y'all thought that was cool. That's not cool. But as far as like something that's good and wholesome and just fun, if people gonna like it, they gonna like it. I don't. And they also have their things too that
Yeah.
weren't a part of our generation, but just new things. That's
Yeah.
okay. It's so frustrating to me because it's like, first of all, don't blame them. They didn't ask for this. They didn't ask you for a Gremlins 3. The new generation.
Nobody
Get
did.
out of here.
No
Please.
one did.
No.
No one did. And that's the
No.
thing, right? The thing is, this is why I'm saying he's full of shit. Now, I just looked at his IMDb. The man is not short of work. He has been directing and producing for eons, and he's given us some classics. I
I
didn't
also
even
thought
know
they
his
say he doesn't
his.
work anymore. Sorry.
I don't know where you read that, but
Hmm.
um,
I'll double check that
yeah,
for you.
I didn't even know some of this stuff was in his filmography. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
he's done some bangers on the
Yeah, yes.
directing and the producing side. So I'm not
Hmm.
shitting on him. But this decision to do this when you just said there's no way we could recapture the feeling and reproduce something as high quality for Home Alone, nigga, what made Gremlins different? Nothing. That paycheck, you full of shit.
You're right.
That's it. I'm putting my flag in the soil.
You do what you gotta do.
That's it. That's my stance.
All right.